The other part we're going to be replacing is the heater control valve, which is this guy right here. I'll show you what the new one looks like. Again, that one is very recently replaced. It looks like it's an aftermarket part, not an OEM Toyota part. And if you can see, it's hard to see in the video, I noticed there's a couple little drops of coolant coming out of the center shaft where the screw holds the bracket on. I hate aftermarket parts. If you haven't seen my other videos griping about aftermarket parts and all of the great work the previous owner had done on this truck, beautiful Breeze constant torque clamps, upgraded heater lines, all of the radiator hoses, brand new Breeze constant torque clamps there. Even on the bottom hoses, which a lot of people don't bother doing. Again, new hoses, Breeze constant torque clamps there. And he, bulletproofed the cooling system, but whatever shop he was at, or maybe himself, decided to use an aftermarket heater control valve, and it's not gonna have any sort of catastrophic failure, but that little drop is really bothering me. Can you see it there? Oh, there we go, right there. So we're gonna replace that along with the radiator that has the cosmetic defect, probably from whoever installed it, and get those two back to being tip-top shape, and also replace that with an OEM genuine Toyota part. Let's get to it. Time for the heater control valve. As you saw on the vehicle, the one on there looks like it's brand new, but it's not a Toyota part, and it's very, very slightly dripping right through the collar that this screw goes through to hold this piece on, which is the lever that adjusts the valve to either give you heat to the heater core or not. And it's leaking from right underneath that. They went through the trouble of replacing it. They didn't put a Toyota one on there, and well, now I got to deal with it. I'm replacing it. Toyota part number for a brand new one is 87240-60170. It goes just like this. That's up, this is down, and then you've got two hoses that come into it, and the cable that controls the valve goes on this along with a little clip. You got to remove these two screws. I'll show you where they are on the firewall, where it attaches to the car, and then you've got two clamps and hoses that go on either one of these. You see the arrow? That's the direction of the coolant flow. I don't know why you need that, but I guess it's there because Toyota's awesome. But it only goes on one way. Maybe this same valve is used for other vehicles. I don't know. So let's go look at what the old one looks like. First thing I did is pull it out of my garage because unlike most people who have a normal garage, we've got carpet on the floor of our garage, which is amazing, especially during the winter when you get to walk out into the garage barefoot and all you got to do is vacuum it to clean it up. But I can't really spill any liquids on there, so I've got to get it out of the garage first. And next thing we want to do is drain the coolant. I'm going to grab myself a drain pan, and we're going to get underneath, get that belly pan off of the front, and then find the best drain point and drain the coolant out. Gosh, I really hate to drain all of that brand new Toyota red coolant out of a perfectly good radiator, but gotta do what we gotta do. I want this thing in tip-top shape with every little thing addressed. I know I'm a little weird like that, but hopefully you'll be able to find this video useful as far as what the procedure looks like, so that when you do have to do yours, you'll have a little bit of a visual and some step-by-steps to go through, make your job a little bit easier. First thing we want to do is get this belly pan off. This guy here, it's the only one that's up there in the front. This is the steering dampener here. For reference, I'm laying on my back on the floor. Apologies, I don't have a lift to get a better view for you. We've got one bolt here, One bolt there, one here. That's the bracket that holds this end of the steering dampener. You'll want to leave those screws there. And we've got one bolt here, and that should be it to get this protective belly pan off of the frame. Then we'll have better access to the radiator, which is essentially sitting right on top of it right there. So let's get these bolts off and get the pan off, and we'll go. Now we've got that belly pan off. You can see underneath here, and if we peek up here, so this is the right side of the vehicle and the radiator, this is the left side, and on the left side underneath here you're going to have this drain plug right there. And in order to drain the radiator, you want to get that drain plug off. If you have trouble with that, or if it's too far out of reach for you and you got big hands, you can always just pull this hose off as well and just point it downwards into a drain pan. I like to use the drain plug since it's smaller and it's not going to cause as big of a mess. So what I'm going to do is get one of my drain pans laid down on the floor over here, and carefully get that drain plug out. And then once that's out, align my drain pan, and then after that I'm going to go up top and remove the cap off of the radiator to allow air into the radiator so that it can drain more quickly. You can see coolant dripping out of there. I've got the pan somewhat lined up. I didn't pull the drain plug all the way out, just enough for it to start dripping, because I don't want to make a big mess on the driveway and make my wife angry. So I'm going to leave that there for a second. I'm going to go up top, and we're going to carefully loosen up the radiator cap here to let air into the radiator so it drains more quickly. And while I'm doing that, I'm also keeping an eye down there to see how much more quickly it starts draining, and in case the flow starts shooting a different direction, I can move my pan. So let's go. There we go. I can hear the air going into it, and we've got coolant coming out a little bit more rapidly now. So here is the old heater control valve right here. There's a little arm, hard to see in the video. There's the arm, little screw right there. It's leaking, not leaking, it's very, very slowly dripping. I've only seen one drop, I haven't seen any more. This car already has the upgraded Breeze constant torque clamps. They're a little bit easier to get off, and also the upgraded heater hoses for the heater control valve. And the two screws that hold the bracket on are this guy and this guy. So what I'm going to do first is get this one and this one off. And I've gone ahead and drained a little bit of coolant out of the radiator, and I'm going to leave the radiator cap off so that the air is not pressurized in there, pushing coolant this way. Hopefully that avoids anything much coming out of here. So I'm going to remove these two, and then try to get this guy right here just wiggled off of the bracket. You know what? I'll probably do that after. I'm going to get these two off, get these hoses off, get these two bolts loosened up so that the control valve and the bracket assembly is loose and able to move around. And then we'll pop this guy off, and then work on getting the new one on here. All right, those two hoses, that one there and this one here, are off. Next thing I'm going to do is undo these two bolts. Look like 10 millimeter. I'm going to undo both of those, and then we should be able to take this bracket off. All right, I had to remove two more bolts. So this plastic housing here that houses some wires and vacuum, or what is that, a windshield washer hose or something, some other parts. It's got one bolt here and one bolt there that have to be removed, and it will give you some clearance here for this one. You can't get to it. The plastic housing is right up against it. So remove that one right there, this one right here. This will be totally loose and out of the way. Make sure you remember to put that ground cable back when you're assembling that back. And now I'm going to get these two 10 millimeter head bolts off. Here's the old one that we just took off, the new old one, and here's the new genuine Toyota part. The old one's got some markings that are a little bit different than the Toyota part. Bracket is pretty much the same, obviously bolts up just the same. I didn't get a chance to get a video, but that cable that comes in through here and attaches to this little post to adjust the heater control valve, this clip right here, once you get the cable in there, it goes through that little groove right there, and this needs to clip like that to hold the cable in place. So whenever we get this new one on, same thing. Man, you know what? So this lever here is nice and tight and snug. Look at this one. I wonder if somebody messed with it. It is totally loose. Maybe somebody tried to adjust it, because these are somewhat universal. You know what? I bet somebody tried to adjust this to work correctly and be in the right clock position for this Land Cruiser. Let me see. Yeah, it lines up correctly, because these are universal and a lot of times you have to adjust this. I bet somebody adjusted this thing and just didn't tighten that screw enough. Oh no, I better clean that up. My wife's gonna kill me if she sees that. You think I'm joking? She will. And this is the garage with carpet. So anyway, we're gonna get this on. I like that I just saw that, I mean, I don't like it because I had to replace this thing, but I do like that there's an obvious problem. I hate it when I take parts off and they look perfectly fine and I don't know what the problem is. This is obviously a problem. This screw is not tight. Might be a washer missing behind it. Something's not right. This thing shouldn't be so wiggly and wobbly. It should be nice and tight like this new one. Doesn't move. All right, let's get this guy lined up. I'm gonna put one screw in through this top one because that's the easier bolt to get to. I'm gonna put that through this, and this is rubber. It's a rubber bushing, so it'll kind of hold it in place. I'm gonna put it through there just so it's in and I'm not messing with it while it's I'm trying to get it lined up on the car. Get that thread started, get this one pushed through, get that thread started, and I'm not gonna tighten those. I'm gonna go through and get this cable attached right here, clip it in right there, and then get those two bolts tightened up and then do the hoses. All right, so I've got those two top bolts threaded on loosely. I've got this guy on the post and I got it guided through the clip and got the clip on. Next thing I'm going to do is get these two tight. Then I'm going to tighten that bolt and this bolt for this plastic housing to get it snug against the firewall, give myself as much room as I can get to get these hoses on, and then get the hoses and the clamps on. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. It is on. Took me all of 30 minutes, including filming this for you guys. Simple fix. New genuine Toyota parts back on the car. And you know, I keep harking about Toyota parts. There's nothing wrong with re-engineering something better. Like these Breeze constant torque clamps are amazing, better than the factory ones in my opinion. These heavy duty heater hoses right here, better than the factory ones. All of these constant torque clamps, better than what the factory setup is. There's a lot you can do that is better, but the simple stuff that you're buying crappier parts for, just go with the Toyota parts. It's easier. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Check out the other ones. We're gonna do a bunch of other maintenance on this truck. A bunch of preventative maintenance that I would have done if I wanted to keep it, which the plan originally was, but now it's getting ready to either go to bringatrailer.com, the enthusiast auction website for vehicles that are rare and collectible, or maybe somebody local will buy it. But that's about it on this truck. It's got tons of new parts that the previous owner did. It's got all new glass around all the sides, the windshield, door glass, rear glass. He special ordered from overseas, from either Australia or Japan, the one piece instead of the sliding. Rear glass in the hatch, all of that's been replaced, so there's no bronze tint glass that came on these for these particular years. It's got OME 2-inch lift, I think. It's a little bit taller than stock. Some aftermarket wheels and tires, no big deal there. All new interior. When I say all new interior, all of the leather is new. The foam is new. The carpeting is new. The underlayment for the carpet is new. New Duracell battery, 27F, like it's supposed to be. Slightly higher cold cranking amps and everything than factory. Filters are all new. Fluids are new. Cap rotor. Distributor O-ring is new. Toyota Denso Iridium spark plugs. PCV valve, breather hoses, valve cover gasket, filter, intake hose that typically cracks is new. You've got some new EGR components. The exhaust the last owner replaced is fairly new. It's got a couple years on it. Thermostat I just did, along with the seals there, brand new radiator, fan clutch, pretty much everything that, again, I would do if I was keeping this truck. I have done everything that was left over from the previous owner that he didn't do. It's going to make a beautiful ride for somebody to enjoy for 10, 15 more years without worrying about much. Hope you enjoyed the video. Check out the other ones. Like, share, subscribe. I do these for you guys. I don't make any money off of this. You see my subscriber count. It's way low. Oh, hood struts. And the trunk hatch struts. Those are also new. Mirror glass is new. Oh my God, I can't even count. All the weather stripping in the doors is new. There's bushings. Shocks are new. OEM shocks, Toyota shocks that the previous owner put on. I'll stop going through the list. There's lots more that I'm probably forgetting. I should probably make a list for whoever's going to buy this thing. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. One more thing I almost forgot. You dum-dums who keep putting auto parts store coolant in your Toyotas, I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but just like everything else, if you're going to do it right, do it right. Buy your Toyota long life antifreeze. It's red. It says factory filled red fluid. Get the long life one. There's two different ones at my dealership. One is long life, one is not long life. I don't know the difference chemically, but I always use the long life Toyota red coolant. That's what's going in this truck with all the new cooling system parts and everything else. The old coolant was fine. I don't like reusing fluids. A lot of people do. I wouldn't. It's an inexpensive thing to buy new. I know all the costs add up, but you'll get to enjoy the vehicle longer and deal with less headache down the line. So that's what's going in the truck. Make sure you use the same as well. Again, see you next time. Love you guys. Bye.